Yes, the Bach oeuvre, I suppose the works would take up about 170 CDs. So one has to say, yes, there are over 50 CDs of what we'd call enrichment or additional interpretations. So, for example, we have 3 complete recordings of the Matthew Passion. So there are 2 performances of what you might call the modern performance tradition. One with John Eliot Gardiner, another one which was there specifically because it illustrates the one voice to a part tradition, which is espoused by many scholars today, and in this edition we have the Paul McCreesh recording. And then as a complete contrast you have Carl Richter's classic 1958 recording, which does lots of other things but in a completely different way. So the listener has the possibility to go in and out of all 3 of those things. And in general, with the shorter pieces, what the approach we've taken is very much to juxtapose on the same CD, for example, different interpretations, so that you can get a feeling of variety and you don't get too immersed in one performer's sound world at any one time, wonderful though that might be. On many of the CDs, I've actually been able to include several performers so that you, for example, within the Cantatas, can experience 3 or 4 different performers on the same disc, which allows different approaches to juxtapose with each other. It also means that you don't get too set in the sound world of one performer, and that can be quite risky because some people prefer to be to have sort of a complete interpretation of one performer, but we felt the sense of variety that you can experience by juxtaposing different performances can actually illuminate both approaches.
There was a very unfortunate period when Baroque performance in general and Bach in particular became divided between the traditionalists on modern instruments and those introducing period instruments, as if only one of the 2 could possibly be right. And I think what we know now is that it's a far more subtle picture than that, and you can't say that this was right or the one way to perform something. So what is absolutely wonderful in Bach333 is that there is a whole variety of approaches to performance, all laid out for the listener themselves to choose from. Yes, there is a predominantly period instrument approach, for instance, to the cantatas, and that's right and proper. But alongside the John Eliot Gardiner and Suzuki recordings of the cantatas, there are splendid older versions by Carl Richter, which many of us listened to as we were growing up, and really got us into this music. When we come to the keyboard music, I think Bach333 shows distinctively and deliberately that both harpsichord and piano can be entirely viable and proper and illuminating in this music.